What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today, once again, we are going to be talking about the map in the Call of Duty Blackout mode. As we know, as of yesterday, the official map for the Blackout mode got released, and a bunch of information along with that, including locations on the map. But the statement that really rung home with many people is that Game Informer said it took 5 minutes to run from point A to point B the width of the map. And a lot of people were concerned that this is going to be way too small of a map, so I thought what we would do is we would take this map, figure out the exact size of it, and then compare it to the Fortnite map to see really how concerned we should be. Now, first things first, I see a lot of videos where people, for example, take the size of the Nuketown houses, compare that to the entire size of the map, and then from there get a number of how big the map is. But I don't think this is accurate whatsoever, because I think a lot of the assets on the Blackout map are going to be rescaled, whether they're bigger, smaller, or anything in between. At this point, it's impossible to tell. But for example, the entire Nuketown section of the Blackout map is not going to be the same size as the Nuketown multiplayer map. So I don't really think that's a great way to actually decide how big the map is. So what I'm going to do in this video is a little bit different, and you'll see exactly what I'm doing as the video progresses. But of course, these numbers are not going to be exact. There is going to be a little bit variance as we talk about them, but it should give you a pretty good idea of a comparison between the Blackout map and the Fortnite map. Now, the other thing is yesterday I made a video talking about the Blackout map, showing you all of the locations, showing you what they actually look like, because we have a lot of pictures that have been given to us. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to it down in the description, or it's the video I uploaded yesterday. But without further ado, let's get into comparing these two maps, starting off with the Blackout map. So as far as what we know about the Blackout map size-wise, it's a little conspicuous because as of right now, we don't know the exact size of really anything. As I mentioned before, we know that Nuketown is on the map, but we don't know the exact size of the houses and how it would compare to the multiplayer map. The one thing that Game Informer did give us is that to run across the entire map, coast to coast, it would take 5 minutes. And as I mentioned, this has a lot of people concerned. The part we don't know is where exactly this line running coast to coast would be. Is it where I show it here, or could it be further up here, or where is it in comparison? Because this really matters when comparing the size of the map. But since we don't know, we'll go with the worst case scenario, that it is the largest portion of the map, spanning from the east to all the way to the end of Nuketown Island. Now, you have to take this with a grain of salt, because as I mentioned, we don't know where they measured from, and on top of that, it's not an exact number. It's not like they said, well, it took us exactly 5 minutes to run across the map, or it's 5 minutes and 11 seconds. No, they just said it's about 5 minutes to run across the entire map. So you do have to take that number with a grain of salt, and keep in mind they probably rounded to that 5 minutes. Whether it's under that or over that, we really have no idea. So taking that 5 minutes, the next thing I did is measured how long that is on the picture. And it turns out that 5 minutes across the map is equal to 13.7 inches when I measured it. So the next step is figuring out how big vertically this map is, north to south. So all I did is measured the line from top of the map to the bottom of the map. Once again, this is assuming that everywhere we can see on this map, we can actually go to, but we measured it and it actually turns out to be exactly 15 inches. So now that we know this, all we have to do to figure out how long it would take to run from the northernmost point on the map to the southernmost point is simply a little bit of cross multiplication. And when we do so, it turns out that running north to south on the map would take 5 minutes and 28.2 seconds. Again, taking this number with a grain of salt, we don't know whether Game Informer rounded, and we don't know how exact their estimation was of running east to west on the map. But it gives us a pretty good estimation of how big the map is, how long it would take to cross the map either way. The next thing I did is I went in Fortnite and I went into the map and I found the largest section of both east to west and north to south and ran that entire section and timed how long it took. Now keep in mind the line I ran in wasn't a perfectly straight line, it was as close as I could get it, so the time is going to be a little bit longer than it probably should be, whether I was just building a complete straight line across the middle of the map, but I didn't do that, I just ran on the ground, and it took me 7 minutes and 7 seconds. Now I have heard some people finish it and run across the map in 6.5 minutes, but it took me 7 minutes and 7 seconds, so there's a number that we can play with. So then I went and did the exact same thing north to south. And once again, I tried to keep as straight of a line as possible, but again, it's very difficult to do so without literally building over the entire map. But once again, I wanted to take into account the elevation of the map, so we just ran across the complete ground as much as possible until I got to Dusty Divot, which I just built over the center of that one because I figured that was a little bit too much elevation to take into account for. So as I mentioned, going east to west took 7.7 seconds, but going north to south was actually a shorter period of time of 6 minutes and 21 seconds. So taking all of those numbers into account, we can now assess and compare the two sizes of maps. So in comparison, we can see that the Call of Duty Blackout map took 5 minutes to cross east to west, whereas Fortnite took 7 minutes and 7 seconds. Whereas vertically, Call of Duty took 5 minutes and 28 seconds, whereas Fortnite took 6 minutes and 21 seconds. So does this mean that the Fortnite map is 42% bigger width-wise and 16% bigger north to south? No, it absolutely does not mean that. But the question is, why doesn't it mean that? So the main reason why you can't just simply go and say that is because of movement speed. The movement speed in Call of Duty and Fortnite is different. For example, in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, you run faster than you do in Fortnite. Now, there's really no way for me to prove that other than feel playing both games, but really it feels like you sprint a lot quicker and the movement mechanics are much faster in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. A main reason for that is not only the sprint is faster, but also you can slide, which causes you to once again move faster. Now, another good comparison that I've seen made between the two maps is the amount of named locations on either map. So first of all, the Fortnite map has 20 named locations, whereas the Blackout map only has 13. Now, once again, this isn't really a comparison in size, it's just a comparison in various locations. Now, the first thing that this doesn't take into account is the size of the locations. As of right now, we have no idea how big the various locations are in the Blackout mode because no one's really seen gameplay or played it, so that's kind of unclear at this point. The other thing that this doesn't take into account is as of right now, there are many various locations throughout the Blackout map that are there but are not named, have no names attached to them. For example, a great example of this is the lighthouse from the Call of the Dead map that is found just below the cargo map on Blackout. This area is not named, but it's an entire location with a lighthouse that you can go, and we even have images of it. So the big final question, which map is bigger, which map is better, who has the bigger dick? And honestly, at this point, it is very, very hard to tell. If you ask me, the Fortnite map does look bigger. Based off of the times and sizes that I've measured, the Fortnite map is a little bit larger. That being said, it's not that much bigger like everyone is saying, and the main reason for that is the sprint speed is faster in Call of Duty than in Fortnite. Also, as I've mentioned various times throughout this video, take what Game Informer is saying with a grain of salt. It just sounds like one of those numbers that they're throwing out there. Oh, it takes about 5 minutes to run across the map. It could be 5 minutes and 45 seconds. It could be 4 minutes and 45 seconds. At that point, this is kind of unclear. I just wanted to make this video to clarify that at this point, the map isn't going to be that much smaller than Fortnite's map, but it does look to be a little bit smaller. This also doesn't dictate how the game plays. It's possible that Treyarch has built this map so that Battle Royale in Call of Duty plays faster than Fortnite, or based off of what we know, it could even play slower. The point I'm getting at is that's all we really know as of now. But at this point, I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think of the comparison of the two maps? Which map looks better to you? Do you think it's cool that in the Blackout map, they're including older Call of Duty maps from various Black Ops multiplayers? Personally, I think that's the coolest part of the Blackout map. The other question I have for you guys is a rumor that I've been seeing going around a lot is, do you think Blackout could be the Fortnite killer? I think that's a very difficult thing for Call of Duty to pull off, as Fortnite is such a huge game as of right now. But really, when we look at it, if anyone could do it, it would probably be Call of Duty. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, guys, as always, I just wanted to thank you guys for all the support on the recent videos. You guys have been hitting that like button like crazy, and it's really been showing. So really, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for all of your awesome comments. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, it took a lot of effort to calculate the size of the different maps, figure out all the math. So if you could hit that like button, it would be very, very greatly appreciated. And on top of that, guys, if you want to stay up to date on all of my content, the best way to do so is hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications for the channel turned on. Also, you can check out my Twitch link down in the description. I stream every Monday to Friday every single week, so you can check out my Twitch down in the description. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, guys, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I want